Hey everyone, welcome to Canal Days, and thanks for joining us for today's episode of the South Hadley World War I plaque located in the South Hadley Public Library. I'm your host Carrie, here with my co-host, local historian and founder of Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Camus. As your personal tour guide, Robert will lead you through some of the most iconic sites and their legends of historic significance throughout New England's preeminent and pivotal state of Massachusetts. With his expert insights, every monument memorial story comes to life. Afterwards, don't forget to check out his website, holyokecanaltour.org, to access the full Canal Days video and podcast series. Also, check out his free in-person public tours he offers throughout Western Mass, and the 2025 schedule for these special events. You can also book personalized private tours for groups of all sizes, tailored to your interests. To discover all that and much more, remember to log on to holyokecanaltour.org.
Okay, we're in South Hadley Public Library of South Hadley, Massachusetts. We're in front of the South Hadley's Roll of Honor for those who died in World War I, who came from South Hadley and entered the war through the United States military. And most of these men died of illnesses or injuries acquired from the war. Some died in training camp because they got ill. Others died in Europe because they got killed during the war. I hope to do a presentation this year about these men here, and I'm going to go through some of them. They have them under a Roll of Honor. A true Roll of Honor is a plaque that has all the military personnel that went out to a given war from a given community. So this is not a Roll of Honor. This is a memorial plaque. Those that died because of the war. Right, and I'll go in alphabetical order instead of the order of the hair. Alva Ernest Avery died October 17th, 1918. He was a corporal, and he's buried in Arlington Cemetery. The Avery name is very common around the area. The next one is Francis William Dampier. He's in the very bottom here, killed in action in Europe, October 24th, 1918. The United States was only involved in the war for 3 years. They entered late in 1917, all of 1918 up to November 11th, and then 1919 only for security details. All the men listed here died in 1918, especially late in that year. All right. Then there was Francis Moses Gaylord, and that's second from the bottom. He died October 22nd, 1918. Now, Francis Dampier is buried in France, right, so never brought his body back. But Francis Gaylord, he's buried in the Evergreen Cemetery of South Hadley. Right, then Leon Thomas McGuire, killed in action, died October 10th, 1918. And he's buried in the St. Rose Cemetery. So he was an Irish Catholic, and he died in action. That means he brought his body back. So compared to this one, he was able to find the body, identify it, and bring it back here. Then there's James Moody on the very top, died April 5th, 1918. They have on this list them in chronological order by death. So he was the first death from South Hadley that occurred. Okay, James Moody's family is one of the pioneer families of South Hadley. He's buried in the South Hadley Falls Village Cemetery. All these people I have pictures from because a person that wrote a book about this had photographs of each of these men, descriptions of their lives. I was able to improve upon it, find out much more about the person's life and where they're buried, more than he had. So I put a little more into it and found more. Cyril John Wallace, and he's right here. He was a lieutenant, died September 9th, 1918. And he died in France, so he was buried there and his body was not brought back. Then Benjamin Chester White, he's the second one down here, June 8th, 1918. He's buried in Evergreen Cemetery of South Hadley. All right, then Harry Lovell Williams. Okay, and he's one that I found that died because of the war, and they didn't have him on his honor roll, but he was in a book that was written by an author about these people. The book was called South Hadley in the Great War, and written in 1932, and I was able to find him in there. So he's not on this. So he's an 8th man died because of the war. Now there's others, and the reason why there's others are because they were not Americans, they were British citizens, and they went into war via Canada, so not via the U.S. military. But they lived in South Hadley when he entered the war. So there was Robert Critchen and his brother William Critchen, and they lived in the Falls section of South Hadley. They both died in 1917 because of that war. There was also William Cunningham. Now, I'm going to give you another one, Homer Beauchamp. He was a person that is honored in a plaque in South Hadley within the Notre Dame Cemetery. And the reason I'm mentioning him is because for a few years he did live in South Hadley. But he entered the war via Holyoke, right? Not via South Hadley itself. Okay? And then there's James Morgan and Francis Steele that also entered the war in a very different way, not via the U.S. military. I'm not going to mention all these men during that presentation that hopefully I can give this year. So this is great. It used to be mounted in the town hall of South Hadley, but they gave it to the library about 7 years ago, and it's been displayed here since. So I hope I can see you at this presentation. And right next to it is the benefactor of the first library, the predecessor library, the second library in the Falls, Andrew Carnegie. Thank you very much.